Hi, everybody. Having a good time today? I walked in here and I was amazed how full it was, so credit to the organizers doing a great job in putting this together. One of the things the themes that has been recurring over the past few hours is money flowing into Southeast Asia, ad dollars being spent in Southeast Asia, ad dollars being spent globally. And of course, where there's money, there's going to be bad guys, right? Anyone here a bad guy? Good. Because it's a very high stakes game. It's an arms race right now. So I'm going to talk to you about mobile ad fraud. Just a quick show of hands. Anyone here a digital marketer? There's got to be more than like, really? That's it? Nobody? Okay, so first I have to pay my bills, and just let you know I'm with Appsflyer. We're a mobile attribution company. What do? We basically help marketers to understand how they're spending their ad dollars from discovery through to post-app install engagement. We are an unbiased platform. We have no investment or interest in selling data. We're not invested in by any ad company like a Google or a Facebook. We're entrusted by 75,000 marketers around the world who've spent over $17 billion in ad spend last year alone. We're a Facebook measurement partner, Google, Twitter, and along with 4,000 other media sources around the world. And probably the most interesting statistic for me, if I were doing this presentation last year, this 1T was about 250 million. And now we're measuring over 1 trillion events on mobile every month. That's 4x growth. It's crazy, and a lot of that growth is coming from here. Now, I've paid my bill. Back to the presentation. So, in the beginning, we actually had it relatively easy when you're talking about fraud, because fraud was very basic. The fraudsters were not sophisticated, so they were basically basic bots, forced clicks, click redirection, and also very basic misreporting or innocent misreporting. But with basic fraud, there's basic protection. So marketers were able to blacklist things. They had functions like receipt validation and other types of validation tools. But things have started to change, and they've gotten pretty out of hand. And fraud at this state of the industry is at a critical point, because fraudsters, a lot of budgets, marketing budgets, have been transferred from other forms of media, from print, TV, even web, onto mobile. There's been a 30% increase in the financial exposure over the past 12 months. So we estimate that there's around 700 to 800 million US dollars just in Q1 this year alone that's been lost to fraudsters. And this number is increasing. Yes, it's increasing. So 11.5%. What does this mean? If you're a marketer and you get 1,000 app installs, how many of those are fraudulent? Any mathematicians here? 115? Right. 115 app installs are fraudulent. So if you're a marketer, you start to think, wow, that's a lot. Well, unfortunately, that rate is going up. So there was a little blip you can see here in this curve, is when we uncovered a fraud, which is what we call device reset marathons. And this is where these, you see these pictures of, they look like factories of all these phones tied up to cords, and they're performing fraudulent activity. Well, we uncovered that type of fraud and started blocking it, which represented the dip. But since then, it's been going up again. And as recent as February, the fraud rate was around close to 13%. According to our new data, that's actually much higher right now. So when fraud is not taken care of, ROI is very, very dangerous. Why? Remember I asked if there's any marketers here? Raise your hand again. Marketers, okay. There's one marketer. All right, I'm going to talk to you from now on. You have a job as a marketer, right? You're supposed to generate an ROI on your campaigns. So You go, you do your campaigns, you're generating an ROI. Are you a happy marketer? Of course you are. Happy ROI, happy marketer, happy boss. You go to boss. Hey boss, can I have more money? Boss say, why you want more money lah? You say, I got good ROI. And boss say, okay, more money. And this cycle continues and continues until all of a sudden you realize that you've been paying a network for app installs that would have otherwise been organic. In other words, users would have just discovered on their own. So we're up against some very, very powerful creatures. This is what the face of fraud looks like right now. So there's about 20% in install hijacking, 24% in click flooding, and then a whole new range, 57% of fraud that is broken down in bots, device farms, and also what we call behavioral anomalies. So I'll touch on some of these fraud types just so you guys are a little bit more educated on this. Click flooding, this is when you have like a burst of clicks from a publisher, and basically this publisher is trying to steal an install that would have otherwise occurred on its own. You have install hijacking. Anyone have those flashlight apps on your phone? You know, malware? Okay, so what happens is an ad is seen and the malware detects that an install happens and they try to steal that and claim it as their own install and get, instead of being free or attributed to someone else, you end up paying that fraudulent network. There's install hijacking, which is referrer hijacking, and this is basically the fraudsters are trying to attack us, which are SDKs, and try to inject code into our app so that they can claim the attribution for it. There's the device reset farm, and basically what this is an ad is clicked on, an app is downloaded, some level of engagement is done on the app, and then the app is deleted, and on your phone you can do a device ID reset and do it again and again and again. And this is what those device farms are doing. And these device farms are not in China or in some back alley in Vietnam, right? These device farms exist all over the place. In Thailand, in the US, in Russia, probably here in Malaysia as well. And then there's advanced bots. So advanced bots is basically simulating ad clicks, simulating reports, and doing anything that basically a bot could do in terms of a very advanced type of fraud. And then you have these things what are called non-human behavior. So why is it that at 2:01 a.m., 3:01 a.m., 4:01 a.m., I always see a burst in activity? So this is what the bots are trying to do. And it's non-human because it's non-human, right? And fraud comes in waves. It's not just something that that happens like in a programmatic way. You have one wave is from device farms, and then the fraudsters go into bots, and then they go into install hijacking. They're always trying to cheat the system. It's basically, it's like a game of cat and mouse. They're always trying to get ahead. And the industry, when I say the industry, it means marketers, it means the publishers or the ad networks, and it means us as the attribution players or the analytics companies. We have a right and a responsibility to protect the industry from this. And just to give you a clue of how crazy it is, right, you can see all these different lines converging all over the place. This is over from 2017, actually basically last year at this time, up till now. And you can see the green line, which is the rise of the bots. Sounds like a good movie title, right? Rise of the bots. So, and fraud varies significantly by countries as well. Does anyone think that Malaysia has ad fraud? Raise your hand. Okay, I know you're not paying attention. You're looking at your phones, probably committing fraud. Okay, well, look at that. This big line, that's Singapore. Singapore has the highest rate of fraud in Asia. Is that a surprise to anyone? I mean, Singapore is such a clean country, right? There's rules, you can't chew gum, everything's perfect. Guess not, right? 27% of fraud is occurring in Singapore. Why is this? Anyone know? Because it's very expensive in Singapore, and the cost of media in Singapore, oh my God, time's up, you're kidding me. I'm going to go faster. Malaysia is up here at 17%. So yes, there is fraud. If you look at the top 10 countries where fraud is found, actually in the top 5, 3 of those countries are in Asia. So India, Indonesia, and Japan. High payouts, big volume equals money. That's where the fraudsters want to get their paychecks. So you got to fight back, right? And you know, how will you fight back? It's all about scale. It's about taking big data, using machine learning, having some really damn smart data scientists to try and basically be the cat and catch the mouse in this equation. So through platforms like us, we've developed a very advanced fraud tool or anti-fraud tool to help protect marketers against things such as click flooding with multi-touch analysis, against install hijacking with different types of defenses like geo blocks and click time to install time protection. And then there's protection against bots, which is basically bots all have signatures, and we blacklist these bots so that they actually can't get into the system. And remember, we are on over 6 billion smart devices on this planet. So chances are, all of your phones, we've seen it before. And we're helping protect you as marketers and as well as you as consumers from fraudulent activity. There's these algorithmic behavior analyses that we do to basically what I was talking about earlier when you see different trends where actually an app is installed, an activity is done within the app, and maybe 2 days later the app is reopened, and that tries to mimic human behavior until you actually spot the trend. So fraud protection is basically comes in 2 parts. In prevention is what you know, and detection is what you don't know. Protection and prevention occurs through our big database for device farms. I'm not going to talk about this because that's our solution. If you want to know about it, I'm happy to have a talk on the side. But to sum up, you as marketers, you need to protect yourself. It's a very, the industry is growing very quickly. There's a lot of great companies out here that, you know, in order to grow, they need to grow responsibly, and I think being alerted to what is out there in the industry is very important for you, so you need to protect yourself. Appsflyer.com/library is a wealth of information for marketers, and thank you very much.